It's elimination night here at the Dover International Speedway. The High Voltage Racing League presented by RK Productions Dover 200 here tonight. A very cloudy day we're going to be racing at, and from what I hear from some of the drivers, very rubbered in, got there early, and as you can see going around for qualifying right now. But before we get to any of that, as we mentioned just a couple seconds ago, and I'm sure the big story of tonight going to be 3 drivers eliminated at the end of tonight. And we'll show you how the points are looking right now. Still a very close battle in terms of where everybody is. Excuse me, Chester Gibson and Gunther Dadson, the only one safe here, with Gibson winning at Atlanta and Dadson winning at Talladega last week. Trevor Polo going to be the safest in terms of points as of right now, but being this a 200-lap race here tonight, anything can happen and you are never going to be safe. And one driver we know that will definitely be eliminated here tonight, Michael Skinner there, 45 points out, was going to need a win, but just hearing here moments before we went live that he will not be able to make the race tonight. So he will be out at round 1. Thomas Bressi out 8 points at the moment, and Nate Lackamy out 11. Still have a lot of chances tonight to make their way in. And then after this, it'll be round 2. We will head to Mosport, or the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Martinsville, and then Charlotte will be our second elimination race. And that'll set us up for the final race at Homestead Miami Speedway, where 3 drivers will go at the championship. It's been a long season, and it's only getting more interesting here. And from what I've been hearing from a lot of the drivers, it should be a good race tonight. One, with how this track feels, as we'll pull up the qualifying board there. Nate Lackamy currently there with about 2.5 minutes left, but rubbered in early, and as you can see, this track can be fairly tricky at times. Those walls can really stick out at you at some places and just eat you alive. And seeing there that 18 Briar LaPrade all the way on the outside there going around the corner. Have to see if we're going to see any different lines here. Last time we came to you from Dover was the Upper Edge Racing League, and those were in the Cup cars, so a little bit of a different car we're dealing with here. But some guys there tried to get that outside lane to work. I don't think they were too successful at it, but definitely tried. To see if that's going to be the same here tonight. But as you can see, this track basically overcast, no sun in sight, so I'm sure that'll definitely change the way this track handles. And with that, we'll take a look at what we're dealing with in terms of temperatures here. Of course, overcast skies right now, 75-degree air temp and only an 80-degree track temp, so very cool racetrack than what we normally race on. And of course, 57% humidity here tonight. One of the guys that we thought were really going to have an easy round 1 here, that would be the 9, Trevor Polo. Currently second on the board, winless so far in round 1. Does have that 14-point cushion, but of course these are the points as of Talladega. And throughout the night, I'll be updating them. Maybe a few moments of silence. I'll ask you to at least bear with us there, as I'll be trying to update the points as they are. So 45 seconds left here, 12 cars on the grid here tonight. All but one of the chasers in the field tonight. Of course, that'd be the 15 of Michael Skinner. Again, already 45 points out of it, so needed a win coming in, and not racing tonight will essentially make sure he does not get out of round 1. We have 10 seconds left here. It's looking like Nate Lackamy going to wrap up another pole here, unless someone finds something out of their sleeve. Trevor Polo going to get out on track, but not going to have enough time, as the clock is going to expire there. And we'll go through this starting grid here tonight. I'll let you know if anything updates, as it's looking like one just did. But Nate Lackamy going to be on the pole here tonight. Trevor Polo going to start second here. Trevor Alam third. Justin Krasnetsky going to start fourth. Briar LaPrade fifth. Thomas Bressie sixth. Cole Bagunia seventh. Gunther Dadson eighth. Chester Gibson ninth. Dylan McNichol 10th. Tyler Hensley 11th. And that will be the starting field here tonight. So these guys are going to grid up, and we'll take one more look at where they are right now before the green flag drops in terms of chase standings. As we said, Chester Gibson, Gunther Dadson, the only one safe here tonight, as a win at Atlanta for Gibson and Talladega for Dadson ensured their way through to round two. Trevor Polo starting second here tonight. He has a 14-point cushion over that cutoff spot. And Briar LaPrade, 11 points cushion. Justin Krasnetsky at 10. And Cole Bagunia right on that cutoff spot. An 8-point cushion here tonight. Thomas Bressie, 8 points out. Nate Lackamy, 11 points out. And Michael Skinner will essentially be knocked out of round one here, 45 points out. And that will only increase tonight. And if you are unsure how the points work here in the High Voltage Racing League, basically with their points, it's 43 points for a first place finish, 42 for second, 41 for third, so on and so forth. I think you can get the gist of that. It'll be 1 point for leading a lap, 1 point for leading the most laps, and 3 points for winning the race. So 200 laps here tonight around Dover. Sorry about that. I had to make sure I was getting the right information out there. I wasn't sure if it was 1 lap for leading the most, but it is actually both. So was correct on that front, but looking like all drivers have gridded, and we're getting ready to pull it out here. Should be about 1 pace lap, and then we'll be ready to take the green flag here tonight for 200 laps. So I'll try and get a points update to you guys out at around lap 20. So it'll be a couple laps of silence there while I update everything, do all the math, and then we'll see where everybody stacks up here. And I'll probably give it a little bit more till the next one. So basically a season on the line here at Dover tonight. Your season could have been perfect here tonight, but one little mistake can definitely knock you out. One of the main guys we're going to look at tonight is that 9 of Trevor Polo, an incident at Atlanta, a 5th at Talladega, and a 14-point cushion here tonight. So pace car pulling off there. Nate Lackamy going to be your pole sitter here, as the green flag is going to fly, and we are green for 200 laps here tonight. Great start by that 0-1, an early jump out. Roland's going to be able to take that second spot. Not going to be able to clear the 9 for second right now. Should get it exiting 4, however. Wow, almost 3 wide. There's the 18 and 4, a little bit side by side, and the 24 tried to take advantage. See the 73 back there blinking a bit. And a battle for the lead here brewing early on lap 2. The 17, Trevor Alam, trying to take the lead early from the 0-1 of Nate Lackamy. Of course, Nate leading that first lap. Give him a bonus point. Trevor Polo is still sitting third there. Justin Krasnetsky trying to get that 4th spot away from Briar LaPrade. He will. That'll push Briar back to the 5th spot. Again, the drivers you're going to want to keep an eye on here tonight. That 0-1 currently leading. If he wins this race, don't have to worry about points at all. He'll be locked in to round 2. The 24, Thomas Gressy, 8 points out, and the driver behind him, the 7 of Cole Bagunia, on the cutoff spot, 8 points in as of the green flag. So single filed out fairly quickly here. It's looking like most likely going to be a one-groove racetrack here tonight, which I had assumed. I think you'll see too many drivers try their way up towards that line. Well, as I say that, the 4 and 18 tried it. It doesn't look like the 18 got too good of a run out of that corner. You saw the 24 get to the door. There's that lane open, but it looks like exit speed may be his best friend, as those two are going to have contact. 18 into the wall. The 7 into the inside wall there. Caution not come out yet, as the 7's going to be stopped on the racetrack, and that's going to shuffle everything around in the points there. The 8 with damage, don't have to worry about him. He is clear, but 7 of Cole Bagunia definitely going to take a hit, as he's going to pull it down pit road. Most likely having to pit for repairs here. Already on the cutoff spot. And this is going to make his life a lot harder here tonight. We'll go back and take a look at what happened there. It started with what I have to presume this 24 getting a little bit loose. The exit of turn 2 there got into the 18 of Briar LaPrade. That car shot up the racetrack. 24 makes it out clear. The 18, heavy contact into the wall, and then the 7 absolutely demolishes that inside wall. Now the caution is out. Cole only going to lose one lap, excuse me, on that exchange. And all the leaders going to come down and pit now. And while they do that, we'll take this chance to quickly take a quick break so I can update the points for you guys as of where they run right now. Because early on lap 8 here, everything is basically shuffled up. So while they take their pit stops and update the points, and we'll be right back. And just taking the one to go there. We'll wait till everyone sort of settles out here until we can take an official point check here. Found too many people started moving around, coming down and off pit road, so we'll wait till everyone's spread out and comfortable until we make that next point calculation. So your leader here is going to be the 9 of Trevor Apollo. The 01 Nate Lackamy going to lose that spot on pit road. And then Trevor Lom 3rd, Thomas Bresty 4th, and Justin Krasneski 5th. Cole Bagunia back there. A lot of front end damage to his car. Is a lap down after coming down pit road. 24 Thomas Bresty. Doesn't look like he's too heavily damaged. And the 18 of Briar LaPrade. Not too much damage to his race car. So pace car going to pull off there. Coming around to the front straightaway here. That green flag drops now. And we'll be taking lap 12 of 200 here tonight. See back there as well, the 66 of Chester Gibson. A lot of front end damage as well. He's already locked into round 2 with that win at Atlanta. So Apollo going to hold it, the lead for the moment. Thomas Bresty there to the outside, the 4 Justin Krasneski being able to get by him. He went a little bit too far up the racetrack. Now he's going to lose a lot of spots there. The 18 Briar LaPrade was able to get by him. And it's looking like that's the amount of the damage he will take for going up that high. The 8 of Gunther Datsun looking to try and get around the 66 of Chester Gibson. Got into the quarter panel there, and what a save by Chester. Could have been much worse in that situation. Already on lap 15, seen a lot of aggressive racing here between the 2 winners already. So back up front, everyone's sort of settled out for the moment. And this time we'll do a quick points check there. So for now, enjoy the sounds of the engines and enjoy some of the racing. We'll see. We'll step away for just a second. Alright, and we apologize for that lengthy time span there. We'll definitely have a better system for this next time around. But as of right now, with where these drivers were running, this is the new point situation as they run. So Trevor Polo, the leader as of right now, would be locked into round 2. Briar LaPrade and Justin Gruzneski currently tied with a 12-point cushion. Cole Bagunia has just a buffer of 3 points with Thomas Bressi 3 points out as of right now. Nate Lackamy running second there, currently still 4 points out, and then Michael Skinner, of course, out with a 78-point gap. With that, Trevor Apollo is currently pushed out to just about a second lead there. Then Nate Lackamy still second there, your top 5. Trevor Alam third, Briar LaPrade fourth. Thomas Bressi snuck in to the top 5. So just looking at some of the chase drivers as of right now, Justin Gruzneski right now out of the top 5, but still has a good cushion to get it into round 2. The driver just in front of him, Thomas Bressi, right now would have to make it up to at least the 3rd spot, to at least tie to get into the elimination spot there. A 3-point gap he has as of right now. Closing in on the 18 of Briar LaPrade, that 24 is. We'll ride on board with Thomas here. Actually, you know what? We'll give a gyro cam there just to show you how banked this racetrack is. You can see there, even at the flat of the straightaway, you still got some sort of banking. It's a pretty crazy feeling from inside the car. There you can see just about to go around the 7 of Cole Bagunia. Already 2 laps down, that car is. He was struggling to get by him exiting the corner there, and now will officially get by. And not all hope currently lost for that 7 car. Still barely hanging on to that chase spot. And again, your points there. Just a 3-point deficit he has. Started with an 8 coming into tonight, but now it's just barely hanging on. So some other cars get knocked out of tonight's event. He has that more of a cushion. For Justin Gruzneski just going around as well. Justin actually just losing that 6th spot away from Thomas, and so that car may be starting to fade just a little bit here in the early going, closing in on our 1/4 mark through this race. With that caution at about lap 8, these drivers came down lap 9. So the question will be, when are we going to start to see green flag pit stops start here? As of now, they're about 40 laps into a run, so from their last stop, I should say. Green flag flew around lap 12, so about 3 laps away from that mark, but so it's looking like this may be one of Rapolo's races where he gets out in front and no one can really track him down, and wasn't in a lot of panic coming into tonight. Like I said, a 14-point cushion, should he win tonight, will instantly advance him into round 2, but if not, should have that good cushion getting in. Of course, should something happen throughout the race, don't think he will be out by any means, so like we said before, Nate Lackamy still in that cutoff spot after a rough Talladega race. Got set a lap down and never could recover from it. So 4 points out of it here. He will need to win. As right now it's looking like Trevor Polo might be able to lock up most laps led. Still early here, so not over by any means, at least for that mark, but it just seems like once that 9 gets out in front, no one can really stop him, and he just goes on his usual tear. So these drivers really spread out at the moment here. One thing to note, this Ford Justin Krasniqi fell another spot to that 8 of Gunther Dadson. Saw this at, I believe, Charlotte, where it seems like the car fires off well and then just seems to start to fade as the run goes on. But again, he's one of those drivers who has a pretty good cushion heading into tonight. His strategy last week with the 66 and 9 to stay back in the field just a little bit seemed to pay off well. And was one of the few drivers who played the safe card last week at Talladega. So yeah, now just about everyone over or just about a second or over the gap from each other. Right now, Trevor Polo and Nate Lackme the closest on track. 0.7 of a second is that gap. We'll go on board with this 01. See there, I believe that's the 23 of Casey Shoe. Gonna be making his way down to pit road. Not sure if something is amiss with that race car or just early stops, but it seemed like it was way too slow to be coming down pit road for that. We'll take a look at possibly something happened. I saw some right side damage, but don't normally see cars take it that low that early entering pit road, but most likely knew the dangers of coming on here. It's not an easy pit road to get on by any means. You have to slow it down all the way to 35 miles an hour. That might be bumped up to 40 here on iRacing, but a very, very slow pit road, a very long one as well, so it's definitely agonizing for a driver. See now, just coming out, he's actually going to go 2 laps down due to that, and Cole Baguni will actually pick up that 10th spot from the 20 or 23. So that'll add that much more of a buffer for Cole. However, when the points were done, as of where they were running, I believe the 24 was running about 6, so should even out just a little bit at 3. Thomas Resti seems to have one of those stout cars. Not one of the more faster cars we've seen out here, but definitely well balanced and should we get possibly later in this run or later into the race, should be up there. Might be able to compete for this win. He's got the 8 of Gunther Dadson currently on his rear bumper. Or just about on his rear bumper, I should say. And again, Gunther in no need of this win, but another win definitely won't hurt for that driver. So the 8 will take it to the inside there. And will easily take that spot away from the 24. And it seems like once Thomas gets a little bit far up the track, the car just seems to really step out on him. And it's just not very happy after that. Casey Chu, by the way, has actually gone 3 laps down after his green flag stop. It's a 20-second stop on pit road, so possibly repairing some damage there. And that just shows you what pitting out of sequence can do for you here on the racetrack. And to make matters worse, as we said before, this pits road isn't the easiest to get on and isn't easiest to really slow down for to make sure you make that 40-mile mark. mile/hour mark. So get a speeding penalty here at any point on pit road, and your night can be very much over, really just because of that. So definitely one thing to be cautious of there. From what we've seen out of these two leaders here, the 01 and 9, it seems like Nate can make a little surge up to the front, make a bit of a dent in that gap, and then just kind of falls off that much more. Hasn't really fell out of the second margin or second gap yet. He's just kind of been hovering around there. Hasn't let this 9 get too far out in front. And these two have actually checked out from third place Breyer Laprade. Breyer about 8 seconds back on the racetrack right now. Cobegunya's gone, excuse me, I thought he'd gone a second lap down, but everyone at this point most likely just riding around trying to get closer to that checkered flag, or I should say riding around to get to that first green flag stop. The beginning was a very exciting, to say the least, with our first chase driver already getting into a bit of an instant. That would be the 7 Cobegunya, of course, having heavy contact with that inside wall, sending him 2 laps down early tonight. Still in the chase as of right now, that 3-point gap, or cushion I should say. So overall, it's right now looking like the same 3 drivers we started with out of the cutoff spot going to be the ones who definitely get eliminated here tonight. But again, still very early in tonight's race. Anything can still happen, so these chase points definitely not finalized by any means. Except for, of course, our first and second place right now with 1 win. Obviously locked in round 2. Michael Skinner definitely going to be eliminated from tonight. Those are the only solid positions that these drivers are in right now. So now you can see Nate Lackamy getting that much closer to the back bumper of this 9 of Trevor Polo. As you can see, green flag pit stops just taking place. The 24 down pit road, the 5 as well. I saw another car come down, but it's looking like only those 2 teammates as of right now. Is Trevor going to get by the 7 car to officially put him another lap down? See the 23 of Chester of Casey Shue. Those fresh tires looking like they may pay off for him early. Should be able to drive around this leader pretty soon and unlap himself the hard way. So Nate, there was about 6/10 was the gap, between the 2 leaders there. Really the closest it's been ever since the drop of the green flag, or the restart, for the restart. See just behind the 01 here, that 23. Fresher tires, 3 laps down, but and one thing to note that's definitely going to be what happens here tonight in terms of coming down pit road. 2 laps is what you're going to lose as the 24 and 5 and come down and take their green flag stop. 2 laps down they go, but once these green flag stops actually start, everything should cycle around. They should be put back on the lead lap. Nate getting forced a bit high there by the faster 23 car. Fresher tires on that car. So the farthest we've really seen this gap spread all night, 1.1 seconds behind the 01 goes. about 8.5 seconds back from Nate. This is 18 to Bryler Pratt. That just shows you how much of a pace those two leaders have been putting on. The four, Justin Krasniewski, coming down pit road there. As you can see, he's actually 35 miles an hour, so it's about 5 off, but that these drivers have to come down pit road. So an agonizing 35 miles an hour, I may add, as Justin's going to go his first lap down. Lachman going to lose a bit more time there with Trevor really getting through that lap traffic with a fair amount of ease. So now this 23 will get by the 9 to make it or get his lap back the hard way. So put the 23 now 2 laps down. Chester Gibson had come down to make his stop. Actually, no, excuse me, he is not. He's actually gone 1 lap down the hard way. So Thomas Bressie, the first one off pit road to make their green flag stops, currently sitting 7th. So top 6 still needing to make their way down pit road. Definitely much longer than I had expected them to go. Again, lap 8 was when they made their first stop, and lap 12 is when we went back to green from our initial caution. So around 70 laps these guys have already gone. So if that's the case for these leaders, this next stop, this first stop will be their second to last one, I suppose. So looking at about a 3-stop race, I'd have to say. Question is when they're going to come in, because when they do, should it be around this mark? As the caution has actually come out, the 5 of Tyler Hensley spun around on the back straightaway, and this is going to hurt a lot of drivers. Somewhat in the middle of green flag pit stops, the caution comes out, and we'll take a look at what happened to this 5. Not sure if he either hit the wall exiting 2 or the car just snaps around on him. Oh, has to really crank it right to avoid that wall and spins it out. Doesn't hit any wall. Luckily, still has a race car in one piece. But now these cars will get caught up to the back of the pace car. The 66, Chester Gibson, going to get his lap back. Be able to pit with these leaders. So top 6 looking like they're going to be the only ones on the lead lap. As Thomas Bressie, Justin Krasniewski, Tyler Hensley, and Casey Shu all 2 laps down. So they could take the wave around if they chose, but they'd still be down that 1 lap. And with that, Cole Bugunier back to the 11th position. So that gap going to be closing in even farther in terms of the cutoff spot. And really due to the time constraints on trying to get all those points figured out, we'll update you next time when the checkered flag flies, when we take our initial break there. So I guess keeps a bit of suspense, if you will, and as we said, next time we will come better prepared with a better system to get this out much quicker to you. It's a good opportunity for a a lot of these guys. Have to see who actually comes down. Cole Baguna going to make his way down. Krasneski as well. Casey Shu. Krasneski's actually going to stay back out, but he hit the orange cone there. Definitely crossed over the commitment line. Not sure if that will be a penalty. Yeah, the orange back just a little bit farther there. Have to imagine that's going to be a penalty, but he's definitely going to cross over the commitment line there, and that little orange square there is really the commitment cone, if you will, for when you're going to come down pit road. So have to see if he gets any sort of penalty, or if iRacing will even call that, because those yellow cones towards the entrance pit road is really where iRacing's pit road starts. So not sure if that will be any sort of penalty, but if anything, you will get an unsafe pit entrance or exit, I'd have to assume. But Trevor Rapolo will be your leader. Nate Lackamy in second. Trevor Alam third. Briar LaPrade fourth. And Gunther Datsun will round out the top five there. So coming around to take the 1 to go mark. Closing in on halfway. This race was extended 50 laps, so the initial distance was 150 laps, and all those drivers will get the wave around. It's looking like possibly no penalty for that four, so I guess you can say he gets away with that one. But yeah, this race extended out 50 laps, so coming to 100, it would have been 50 to go. But this race in Martinsville in 2 weeks, Martinsville had been extended 100 laps, this race 50. Alright, so your top five once again here coming to green, coming to take lap 87. Pace car going to pull off there. And Trevor Polo will be in the hand, or the leader of this field. As the green flag is out now. A little bit of a slow start there. It seemed like that 8 was definitely ready to go, but the field was not. So, he's side by side entering turn 1 here. Trevor Polo with that preferred lane will be able to clear the 01, keep the leader. He's going to try and fight back on that inside, but was not close enough to. So makes an early dive down to make sure the 17 is not going to run. So the top 6, the only ones left on the lead lap due to a caution coming out in somewhat the middle of green flag stops. As we keep saying, coming around here on pit road basically takes 2 laps away, so 8 a little bit loose exiting 4 there. And Nate basically on the rear bumper of this 9 now will ride on board. Now that 9, as you saw, pulling farther and farther away from this 01. 0.5 of a second is that gap. And now on the rear bumper of this 01 is the 8 of Gunther Datsun. We saw before had some front end damage after the 7 basically clipped his nose in. And he's recovered nicely. Front end not looking too bad. And definitely some speed left in that 8. Winner last week, trying to make it back-to-back wins here at Dover. It's almost 3 wide back there. It's getting pretty racy. 24 Thomas Presley trying to get by the 66 of Gibson. Gibson a lap down. Should be on the lead lap. Presley a lap down, so really he's chasing after that 4 car for what will be the lucky dog position should we get another caution here. Really close on the back end is that 18 of Prairie LaPrade, and not sure how much more LaPrade will be able to take from that before he gets before he says it's a little bit too much. Again, those 2 cars racing up there a lap down. Currently racing the 66 behind him for that 5th spot. This field pretty well mixed up in terms of lead lap cars and lap down cars. And the battle for the lead heating up just a little bit more. There's 7 of Cole Baguni is bringing it down pit road again. So he will go at least another 2 laps down, so that'll put him 5 down. And it's just looking like a bad night has gone to worse for Cole Baguni here. Can't lose really any more positions. The 73 of Dylan McNichol had disconnected from the server. Have to assume for internet issues, was blinking a lot throughout the beginning portion of that race. But now it's looking like that 8 being right on the rear bumper of Nate is making him push just that much farther, or harder I should say. And he is there on the back bumper of the 9, and can say the same for the 8. Nick gonna try and get his nose out underneath, but wasn't able to have the momentum. Taking halfway next time around. A little bit farther up the track, those 2 go. As we'll ride on board with Nate. Give you the gap as it is. It's officially halfway through this race. That caution coming out about the 90s, so next green flag stop is going to be definitely towards the checkered flag should we not get another caution here. Have to assume if we get to around lap 20 and the caution comes out, that will be these guys' final stop with how long they ran these cars last time around. Don't have a definite number of when these leaders are going to want to come down. Don't know their exact numbers, so back in the field just a little bit. This is for the 5th spot between the 17 and the 66. Again, Chester Gibson already locked in. You can see the nose damage he has on the front of that car. Doesn't look like it's really hurting him too much here. He's going to try and take that 5th spot away from Trevor Alam here. Alright, so everyone's sort of settled down here. I'm gonna step away for just a quick second. There's your top 5, and you won't miss anything as we'll go side by side. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back to Dover International Speedway for the High Voltage Racing League presented by RK Productions. Dover 200 here tonight, the elimination race for round number 1, and just doing over some points. That's why that break was so long, but sure glad we did, because this shows you how close these points really are. Trevor Rapolo still your leader, so he will be advanced into round 1 should he make it in, or should he win this race. But that cutoff spot has gotten even closer. Of course, Nate Lackamy going to be -1 there. My apologies for that. I was trying to get this out as quick as I could. But Cole Bagunia, only a 1-point gap separating him from Nate Lackamy. And Nate, of course, has jumped over Thomas Bressi there for that cutoff spot. Bressi now is 5 points back. And, of course, Michael Skinner will not be advancing out of round 1, 78 points back. But the race for that cutoff spot getting much closer. And, unless Nate wins this race, really not much he can do in terms of advancing. It would sort of equal out there. So Nate basically in a must-win situation, or at least has to lead the most laps. So he'd really have to jump out now. Actually, no, he cannot lead the most laps. Trevor Rapolo has that title locked up, leading 117 right now. 19, excuse me. So Trevor will lock up those bonus points. I guess bonus point, I should say, but the leader right now would advance into round 2. So your top 3 there would be the ones who locked themselves in, and then Laprade, Krasneski, and Bagunia would be the ones who raced their way in. So it's getting much closer here, winding down here. 70 laps to go. Your next points update when we take the checkered flag, and we will be with you until the checkered flag. That would be our last break. It really taking a long time for everything to get sorted out here. Again, we'll get a much better sort of format here to get your points out much quicker for the next rounds and for the upcoming leagues as their championships loom as well. Alright, so if the caution comes out now, these guys would be able to come down pit road, and this would most likely be their final stop. So, again, they pitted around lap 90, so not exactly sure the amount of fuel they can take. It's looking like it might just come down to more fuel than tires, as that's what we've seen in a lot of leagues so far. But it's looking like fuel may be coming first here tonight, as this track not really too bad on tires. But either way, this next stop will be their last one. So they've gone about 110 laps on this run. Tyler Hensley looking like he's making his stop. Thomas Bressi, Casey Shue on pit road as well. And Cole Bagunia looking like he's called it quits, possibly. Either that or maybe that engine has gone away. 31 laps down, he is gone. And not too much damage can be done to that cutoff spot where he is. Again, a 1-point gap he has as of right now. So Nate Lackamy would essentially have to win this race to lock himself into the next round, should this be where the points are. Casey Shue's also disconnected, so if Cole Bagunia gets out on track, again, not sure how much damage he has, but he could have a shot at taking over another spot, get himself in the top 10 with Casey Shue just disconnecting. But as long as my math was correct, I believe Nate Lackamy in this situation, it's at this point a must-win situation with only 12 cars in the field, or who started the field. Dylan McNichol essentially did not, or ran about the first 10 laps. and will definitely finish 12th here tonight. Cole Baguna again, 11th. And to be honest with you, should that tie, I'm not even sure who would break that tie, being I believe it is the best finish in the round. And to be honest, I do not have that information right now, so it's going to be interesting. Once the checker flag flies, we'll take a most likely extended break to make sure we get everything correct and let you know who's going home and who's going to be advancing to round 2 with a shot at the championship. Again, a 3-round championship bracket here. You got 9 drivers in it right now. I'm going to close it down to 6 for round 2. And then the final 3 will race for a championship at Homestead Miami Speedway for the Arcade Productions 200, the season finale. Closing in on that 50 lap to go mark, Nate Lackamy basically on the rear bumper of that 9 of Trevor Apollo. Again, it seems like that car has a few surges, then it starts to fall off, but this 01 has been on it these last couple laps. And we'll ride on board with Nate. You can see some right side damage, most likely into the wall. That car has gone, but the gap is there. And just the amount of power Nate got out exiting the corner there. Unfortunately, the 9 was there to sort of cut it off. Just to give you an idea of how far gone these leaders are. The 17 Trevor Alam about 7.5 seconds back of these leaders. Nate Lackamy all over the back bumper. He's ready to take this lead. He's been working this 9 over for the past couple laps. And has basically, I think, matched him at this point. Nate already has the bonus point for a lap led locked up. He's led 8 so far this race, but this 9 has the most locked up tonight with 133. So with that, Nate Lackamy will take over this lead, a must-win situation essentially for this 01, and has put himself into the lead here, coming to 50 laps to go. That last pit stop still looming. We must note as well, should this 01 win, that does not knock the 9 out. As we take a look at this, again, Trevor Apollo would not be the leader, so he'd be about 4th on the board. That would put Nate Lackamy in the 3rd position. And that would knock out Cole Baguna and put Justin Krasneski on the cutoff spot, or on the cutoff spot. Not in a huge amount of danger, with him being with a 7-point gap he has, or would have, essentially over Thomas Bressie. But here we go. Nate Lackamy coming down pit road that time. I believe the 9 Trevor Polo came down a lap earlier. And just to give you an idea of how slow this racetrack is, Trevor just coming into a stall now, and the 01 just now entering pit road, essentially. So that'll hand over the lead to the 17 Trevor Alam and the 18 Briar LaPrade just behind them. Briar wants to get by the 17 to lead that lap, or lead a lap, because that will give him 1 extra bonus point in this championship chase. So Rapolo is out. Nate Lackamy still on pit road, really towards the wall. They're going to get into it, exiting his stall, going to hit the cone as well. Shouldn't be a penalty. And that'll be their final time on pit road here tonight. Excuse me. Unless we get another caution, I have to assume they're going to want to come down to get fresh tires. And there it is, Briar LaPrade, a lap led, so add a bonus point to him. And again, this is one of the drivers not really in danger, so not too much to worry about in terms of the championship chase for him. The main guys you're going to want to worry about is Nate Lackamy there and Cole Baguna. Don't really have too much pressure on Justin Krasneski been having, I guess you could say, a solid night. Currently in 7th car. I don't think really where he wants it to be. But overall, going to be a solid points night for him. Thomas Bressi, unless something happens to that car, looking like he's going to be the second one knocked out here. So Krasnowski wanting to get his lap back the hard way. 3 laps down he goes. And will now get his 3rd lap back. So put him 2 laps down now. 50 laps to go. Your leader is the 18 Briar LaPrade. Still needs to make that last pit stop, as well as the 17 and 8. Thomas Bressi looking to get his lap back the hard way as well, chasing down that 4 of Krasnowski for the 7th spot. And that would be a point for each of them. Bressi would be up 1, Krasnowski would be down 1, but right now that is flip-flopped. So looking at what will be the race for the lead here, Trevor Rapolo would keep the lead as of right now, but Nate Lackamy only about a second off. Basically the gap it's been all night. I have to imagine what this would shake up should this race have stayed 150 laps, but now you can see Nate Lackamy really closing that gap in on the 9 of Trevor Rapolo. 6/10 is the gap now, and really quickly closing in. We'll ride on board with this 01 and show you the gap as it runs. Nate definitely showing he has the speed tonight, and that's what it's going to take at this point for him to get in. Saying a win would advance. That's 01 in. The 9 Rapolo has a big enough gap that he really doesn't have to worry about it. Essentially locked himself in as well to round 2. As unless we have a situation like we saw at Atlanta, where Trevor and Cole got together, essentially ruined Cole's night there. Trevor, I believe, came home with the top 5. As long as you don't have another one of those situations, each driver should be good. But Nate's still needing to get to victory lane if he wants to get into round 2. So one driver into the wall there, you heard it. Don't exactly know who that was. Briar LaPrade, you're still your leader. Been out front for 11 laps here. Still needs to make his last stop, as well as the 17 and 8. Rapolo, Lackamy, Gibson, Krasnowski, and Bressi will be your top 5 when everything sorts out, or at least should be. As Rapolo going to get his lap back the hard way there. Nate going to try and do the same. As you can see, just the speed difference those fresh tires have over the 18 of Briar LaPrade, who's stayed out there ever since his green flag stop at the last caution, which was around lap 90. Currently on lap 160. So 40 laps to go. Closing in on the checkered flag here. Not a lot of movement in the chase standings at this point. Not really a lot of things can be moved around at this point. Everyone's sort of stable where they're at right now. And looking like, unless something happens to any of the drivers, it's where they will finish. As you can see there, the 8 Gunther Dadson coming to pit road. Not sure if that's just the angle of that car. It doesn't look too healthy, almost like it was crap walking just a little bit. I have to see how long he stays on pit road, but he might have been one of the cars that we saw go into the wall, or her go into the wall. No, he's actually off, and might have been just been the angle we were watching though. But Breyer and Alam still need to make their green flag stops. Don't imagine they can go the whole way. So that would be quite impressive, going 110 laps. But unfortunately, this isn't a short track, and you can't really get those types of laps of fuel mileage. So it's coming to 35 laps to go here. Trevor Apollo is now pulled out just about 2 seconds over Nate Lackmy, which would have been the battle for second. And you can see it there. So unless we get another caution, and unless Nate finds some sort of speed under the hood of that 01, I believe at this point, Trevor Apollo would have this locked up. I don't believe Nate would be able to advance into the round of 12, or into the round 2. You saw there the 18 and 17 coming down pit road there, so that puts the 9 and 01 back 1-2. And will essentially cycle out this field to basically where they will finish should we not get another caution. Interesting strategy by those two to stay out that long. I'm assuming they were running the full fuel run, running out of fuel before you want to come in for tires, so they will come out. Wow, a blazing spot stop for that 18 Breyer LaPrade, 13.8, but somehow that 17 going to beat him off with a 15.3. You have to assume Breyer missed his pit stall just a little bit there. I thought that might have been one of the better battles there, as those are the closest two on the racetrack as of right now. And the 17 will pull away there. A second margin he now has over the 18 of Breyer LaPrade. So closing in on 30 laps to go here. The gap back, or the gap from the 9 to the 01, 2.5 seconds at this point. And it's been gaining just about every lap. That time around, the 9 just about a tenth better than the 01 of Nate Lackmy. But it seems like Nate has a better long run car. And I think this may be what it comes down to at the end. I just don't know if the run's going to be long enough for the cars to equal out and give the 01 the advantage. You saw last time around, or the last time these guys came down pit road, it took the 01 that long, 2 laps before they came down pit road, for that car to be able to come back to him. Don't think it'll be that long, or I don't think we'll have that much time before the checkered flag flies, but time around, those laps were fairly equal. Not too much of a difference there. Both with clear tracks in front of them. And we'll give you the times this time around. Well, in that time, Trevor ran a tenth better than his previous lap. Nate still with a 23.5. Trevor that time around was a 23.4. So looking like we may have a battle developing here. Is the 5 Tyler Hensley going to make his way back out on track? Thinking he must have had some sort of engine issue as he is 51 laps down, so he's been on pit road for quite a while. Cole Baguni's still out of his car, so not exactly sure how many laps down that car is. It says 31, but I have to imagine it's much more than that at this point. So with this, only 3 cars left on the lead lap, about to become 2 left on the lead lap. Just in front of that 9, the 66 of Chester Gibson got the wave around. The lucky dog, last time we were under caution, got his lap back to get on the lead lap. And now with this 9 running such a blistering pace, he's had to put that 3rd place car, the 66 of Gibson, a lap down and leave only him and Nate Lackamy left on the lead lap. Just shows you the speed this 9 has week in and week out. Definitely was one of the favorites heading in to this championship chase. Had that incident at Atlanta, got caught up in a wreck at Talladega. This race might be the race where everything can come together and win his way into round 2. Already 5 wins on the season. Looking to make it 6 here and get that much closer to running for that championship. Already had a fair margin going in. The gap closing in for Nate. Pulled about 5/10 now. So back to 2 seconds. Was going around some lap traffic. Or the 9 was. But now 1.9 seconds. So I think that 01, the car is starting to come to him. Coming to 20 laps to go this time around. Not sure if he'll run out of time, but that time around, the 01, 2/10 faster than Trevor Apollo. So possibly Nate saying or saving something inside that car. The 17, Trevor Alum, a lap down, trying to get by Nate here. I don't think Nate will be too happy racing this car with the speed he has, knowing he's catching the 9. But he'll give it to him. Not willingly. At that time, he lost 2/10, but now it's closed back down to a 10th. 1.6 seconds is the gap. Again, the question is going to be, is he going to have enough time? 19 laps to go here. And essentially at this point, Nate is going to need this win, as we keep mentioning. Basically, a must-win situation this 01 is in. The gap is there. Lacomi able to get around Gibson there. Gibson actually lost that 3rd spot there. As you see Cole Baguni coming back out to the racetrack. 89 laps down, Cole is. And it's looking like he's going to bring it back down again. No getting out of the way of Gunther Dadson there. A very lengthy stop for that 7. I'm assuming fixing engine damage. Probably the radiator was covered up for that 7. Car overheated. Unfortunately, most likely blew the engine. So most likely will not be enough time for Cole to be able to get around this 23 Casey shoe to get into the top 10 and get that all-important bonus point. But Nate is closing on Trevor Apollo. He's closed in about 1.5 seconds. Was 2.5 seconds. Now it's about a second. Under a second. 15 laps to go. Nate needs this. How hard will he push to get it? Again, Trevor not in a must-win situation. Has enough of a cushion that he will get into round 2 should nothing happen these final 15 laps. But the gap's shrinking at a pretty alarming rate I must add. I think at this point, Nate putting everything he has on the table. 0.5 of a second it is now. I didn't think Nate would have enough time for the car to completely come to him, and maybe for Polo, the car starts to fall off. Not sure if that's the case, or it's just this 01 car really likes the long runs, but sort of stabilized right now at 0.5 of a second. The gap is there just behind them, the 18 of Briar LaPrade. 1 lap down, going to try and unlap himself the hard way. Coming to 10 laps to go, 0.3 of a second. The 01 is behind the 9. Question's going to be at this point, how big of a factor is this 18 going to be on the 01? Should be able to wait to the back straightaway to get around Nate here. Not going to have a good enough run to do it. 0.2 of a second. Nate essentially on the back bumper of this 9, coming to 10 laps to go. Nate is there, trying to get to the inside of Trevor Rapolo. Wasn't able to do it that time around. See what he can do exiting 4 here. Down the front straightaway, have the lap car. The 18 of Briar LaPrade looking like he's just staying behind them. Not going to be too big of a factor, but here we go. Nate has the inside, the preferred lane. Going to be side by side down the back straightaway. 9 laps to go, coming to 8. Trevor going to have the edge down the back straightaway. Exiting 4, he's going to have it. Still a lot of time for this 01. 18 Briar LaPrade being a gentleman, not getting in the middle of this race for the lead. Looking like he's just going to stick behind and let these two race it out. Not going to become a factor. He's sitting in the 4th place position, and I think at this point he knows there's no chance at catching that 17. Trevor had already unlapped himself, and the 18 Briar LaPrade not in a desperate position in points, so again, going to let these two race it out, be the gentleman at this point. Six laps to go. Nate going to try and get the inside again from the 9 of Trevor Rapolo. He'll get the power down. Will he be able to clear him exiting 2? He does not. Rapolo is still there. What can he do exiting 4? Imagine he'll have the advantage exiting 4. And he will be able to clear Trevor Rapolo coming to 5 laps to go. Put Nate Lacamy in the lead. And right now in the chase to round 2. Rapolo raced hard for that lead, but I think he understands at this point Nate going to have the better car. It seems like longer runs the advantage for this 01, and that's what it's going to come down to at the ending of this race. 4 laps to go, coming to 3. Nate 3 laps away from advancing to round 2 of this chase, knocking Cole Bagunia out of it. And if that's the case, can move Bagunia down 1, move Lacamy up to the 3rd position in these chase points. And the ones not advancing are Bagunia, Bressi, and Skinner. And really, I think at this point I have to tip my hat to that 18 of Briar LaPrade. He knew he had a faster car, I believe, but chose not to race these leaders. 2 laps to go, the 01 is coming to now. Chose not to race the leaders, knew the importance of that race, and let them race it out, and stayed right behind and did not interfere. Now he's racing the 9 of Trevor Rapolo as Trevor loses loses tact of the 0-1. Coming around turn 4, white flag is out. 0-1 Nate Lackamy, 1 lap away from advancing to round number 2 of this chase. Didn't have the greatest race at Talladega. Went a lap down there, was not able to recover. Raced for that lead to try and get the lucky dog position. But rounding turn 4, he's going to do it the hard way. Nate Lackamy going to win at Dover, advances to round 2. Trevor Polo going to come home second, Alam third, Briar LaPrade a respectable 4th place finish, and Gunther Datsun in 5th. He's going to come around, do the burnouts. Trevor Polo going to congratulate him on a well-fought race. While he does the burnouts, going to take a most likely lengthy break here. Going to tally up all the points. Basically already know who's in and who's out. But we'll let you know how close the gaps were in the top 6. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Let you know who's in, who's out, how close they were, and talk to the 3 winners there. Have to see who we can round up being eliminated here tonight. Don't go away. All right, and we apologize for that. A lot of math being done there to make sure all these were right, but we welcome you back to the Dover International Raceway for the Dover 200 tonight for the High Voltage Racing League presented by RK Productions. And the one thing that everyone wants to know, I'm sure, is where everybody ended up at the end of the race in terms of the chase points. And there you have it. Chester Gibson, Gunther Datsun, and Nate Lackamy all going to get in with their one win. Trevor Polo had a healthy margin there, so not winning didn't really do too much. He had a 14-point cushion. Briar LaPrade had an 11, and Justin Krasniewski had a 7. And Cole Bagunia actually had -7, as well as Thomas Resi had about a -15, and Michael Skinner a -88. So those three are going to be the ones not advancing. Cole Bagunia, Thomas Bressi, and Michael Skinner. And with all that, we will now talk to our winner here, the 0-1 of Nate Lackamy. Nate, you got us?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it seemed like to fire off, the car wasn't too good, but once the long runs started, it seemed like that car absolutely came to life, and that's just what it needed coming down to that final long run.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't really keep up that much on the short run, but for whatever reason, on the long run, we just kind of had a lot more speed.
And that battle with the 9 of Trevor Polo, about 10 laps to go, it seemed like when you came off pit road, the car seemed like it might have been a little bit more off. Did you think you'd be able to get back up to the 9 of Trevor Polo?
I mean, initially I thought I'd be able to get to him, but then he pulled to 2-second lead, so I thought it was over, but then he just kind of came back to me in the last 15 laps.
And the most important question I think we have to ask you here tonight, were you keeping track of the points at all in terms of where you were or anything?
Well, I knew I had no chance as far as points go. I mean, I knew my only shot was to win.
Well, I'd like to tell you right now, you were if you did not win, you were going to be 1 point out of it. So a great rebound here tonight, and obviously, basically a must-win situation, and you most certainly delivered here tonight. So congratulations on that win and advancing into round 2, and we will definitely see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, so now we'll bring in our second place finish here, Trevor Rapolo. Trevor, you got us?
Hey, Justin. Yeah, man.
All right, well, definitely didn't need the win tonight, but almost in your hands there, 164 laps led, and just seemed like the 0-1 was a little bit better there on the long runs.
Yeah, that's what I was telling him. He beat me in my own game, man. Usually I'm the good one on the long run, but no, I was maintaining a gap with him, just trying to keep him a second back. And then when I got like 2 seconds ahead of him, I was like, all right, cool, game over. And I think I just kept pushing too hard. And at the end, he ran me down. He was good on the long run tonight for sure. And I was just kind of pushing it, I think, too hard early on in the run. So hats off to him. That was awesome. A really smart race. A lot of fun too.
And I'm sure one thing that must have been a comfort for you was that 14-point mark or gap you had coming in, and that didn't change at all exiting here. But it basically meant you wouldn't be able to get eliminated here tonight. I'm sure that must have been a comfort, if you will, going into tonight, knowing really nothing to lose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the plan was just kind of, again, just get like a top 3. I haven't been pushing it too hard in the chase here, just because I want to get solid finishes and make it. I feel like I deserve to be there at Homestead, standing for it, so I just don't want to do anything stupid that'll knock me out. And like, kind of, I think last week was Daytona, right? Talladega, sorry. And, kind of those guys were up front that I was sitting like third, and I just kind of was letting them be up there because I didn't want to get wrecked. And then on the last lap, you know how it goes, start racing, and I got wrecked. So, but I still finished 5th, which was okay. So just kind of top 5 in my way through this round.
Absolutely. Well, no surprise, we'll be seeing you in round 2. So congratulations on second here tonight, and you're one step closer at that championship.
Thanks, Justin. I've missed you, man. I haven't talked to you in like 4 weeks or something, so good to talk to you.
Yeah, man, it's been a long dry spell for you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Everywhere. Seems like every league right now, I am having some shit luck. Oh, sorry, I can't say it on TV. Whoa.
All right. Well, yeah.
All right, man.
Congratulations on second tonight, and we will definitely see you next week.
Thanks, man.
All right. So now we'll bring in our fourth place finisher here, the man who finished just behind those two leaders, Briar LaPrade.
Oh.
Briar, you got us.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Well, it seemed like you were able to stay out on that longer run. Really a decent points gap you had as well. Was it staying out that long? Was it just more trying to get all the fuel out of it you could, or was it just trying to lead the most laps you could?
Well, I for sure wanted to get a bonus point there, just to kind of make sure get the most confidence I can out of making it for the next round. But we were gonna try 2 tires, see if we can do anything with Nate and Trevor, but it just didn't work. We pitted too late, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure at least one of us got on the next round. It sucks for Cole. I tried putting pressure on Nate, see if he could do anything, but yeah, I really wanted Cole to go on to the next round there, but at least me and Gunther for our team made it on to the next round.
And one thing I really have to tip my hat on, it seemed like once you got up to those two leaders, I'm sure you had a faster car, but you chose to stay behind them and let it race it out. And again, you had a fairly decent points gap as well, so I'm sure that must have been one thing you were thinking about while doing that.
Yeah, I've had the problem with lap cars wanting to race and you're racing for a win. It makes you really mad. And I thought my race would have been over if I would have just wrecked early in the race around lap 6, I think it was. Yeah, the 24 just went up. I don't know what he was doing. He should have used his brakes before, but he didn't. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, we're moving on to the next round. I'm glad. Me and Gunther, hopefully we can go fill up 2 of the 3 spots in the final 3, and let's try and go get a championship.
Absolutely. So congratulations on 4th here tonight, making it into round 2, and we'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.
All right, so now we'll talk to our 8th place finisher here, Thomas Bressy, unfortunately eliminated here tonight. Thomas, you got us?
I do.
Well, as we said, unfortunately, your chase ends here tonight, but it wasn't for a lack of trying. I'm sure Talladega was a big hit for that, racing on unfortunate circumstances, but tonight, again, not for a lack of trying. Seemed like that car had some good speed in it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, tonight the car wasn't that great. I mean, the fact that I missed a lot of practice didn't really help things, but we just didn't quite have the speed. And I mean, also first, I would also like to apologize for the whole crap that I started was it like lap 5 or 6 or whatever. I just got in the gas a little bit too soon and got into the 18. But I mean, I apologize for it. I'll own up to it. But I mean, he said up and down that apparently I wreck him on purpose and stuff. So whatever. I mean, but to anyone else, especially like Cole, because I know that kind of ruined his shot of making the next round potentially. So, but I mean, it's not like I did it on purpose. But yeah, Talladega didn't. That didn't help. Had a good car at Atlanta, and then we got put in the wall, so that didn't help. But, I guess there's an upside to being eliminated. At least, everybody's fair game now. If you got loose ends, you got to tie up, which, I got a couple. Not necessarily with the 18, but there's a few things lingering. And, I'm really looking forward to the races in that round. So, I mean, just going to go out there, give it everything I can, and see if we can't get another win or two before the season's up.
Absolutely nothing to lose at this point, just going for wins. So, unfortunately, like I said, your chase ends here tonight, but I'm sure we'll see you in victory lane before the end of the season.
Yep, hopefully. Thanks, Justin.
All right, and that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Again, your chase points there. This is how it finishes at the checkered flag. And when we get next week to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, everything resets. These drivers get in the top 6 there, 3,000 points, and then we race it out from there and see who makes it into the round of 3 going into Homestead Miami Speedway. So next time we see you, it'll be the Hardline Truck Series. So tonight, that's going to end it for us. I'm Justin Kolb. We thank you for watching here tonight, and we'll see you Wednesday for some truck racing.